All right, welcome back to the Run.down post-game show here on the Strickland YouTube channel. If you're listening to this, the Strickland Podcast Network. Knicks lose 98 to 94 to the Orlando Magic. Starting off this homestand with a loss. Magic were, of course, missing Franz Wagner, but that did not matter. We were also missing Jalen Brunson. I think today's game kind of really showed what the Knicks were really missing in terms of another creator, someone that can help, regulate things when a Brunson is missing. Last year, we were fortunate enough to have Emmanuel Quickly when Brunson was missing from games. Um, Today, you have Deuce McBride taking the reins of starting point guard, and we kind of saw a little bit of this in the last game. The lack of creation on this team is really, really missing without Brunson and without Quickly. Before I get any further, of course, though, I have to do the ad read. Give me 1 second. With the NFL playoffs right around the corner and the NBA season in full swing, BetOnline has you covered with all the up-to-the-second odds, news, and scores with additional odds, lines, trends, and info on both desktop and mobile. You can access the world's best wagering information anytime. Head there today to get into the action and see all the updated odds. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. But yeah, back to what I was saying. In terms of Knicks creation, I think that's the biggest thing that is missing in these games. Deuce McBride, shout out to him. He was able to score 20 points after his 19-point effort in the last game versus the shorthanded Grizzlies. But you're still missing that lack of creation, someone that's able to get us organized, get us into sets, and just able to create his own shot off the dribble and whatnot as consistently as Jalen Brunson can. I think where Deuce will really shine the best is when he has someone next to him that's able to create. I think you also see this. This also hurts the bench in terms of bench creation. Like the bench is not able to create that many points. Total bench points tonight lacking as well. And I think that's just something that we're going to see until Jalen Brunson gets back. And I assume that he will be back very soon. I don't think this is something that is, this injury is something that we have to be concerned about long term. I think they just want to give him a couple games of rest. I think that they thought that they would be able to win these games more comfortably without Jalen Brunson. But man, yeah, this game was very, very hard to watch. I myself was tuned in and out of it just because it wasn't the most entertaining watch. And I tweeted out during the game that Jalen Brunson has been the one saving grace for this team this year, and especially since Quickly's been out, he's kind of been that one kind of spark of joy, I guess you can say, that this team has when we need it. I think with the OG trade, it does put people in place in terms of where they need to be. Like it kind of places everyone where they need to be. But in that trade, we lost some of that creation. Like even someone like RJ Barrett was someone that, when a Jalen Brunson is out, him and Quickly, they were able to, get feet into the paint, create things. And you see where that's lacking severely when with those guys gone and with an OG and an Obi. Like OG was able to give you 17 points, but the offense really still struggled. And of course, I haven't mentioned one Julius Randle yet. I think he is someone that should have taken control in both of these games. I think in both the Memphis and the Magic game. This game, he looked completely out of it from the beginning. At first, I thought that he was trying to more so get guys into the get guys into their flow offensively. But as the game went on, and I don't know if it was more so due to the ankle injury as well as just like more so just that I don't know if it was just the ankle injury or it was the just his lack of aggression. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely an issue today. And going forward, even if Brunson comes back the next game, like going forward in games without Brunson, we're gonna need him to be that guy. Like he is supposed to be that guy. Like that's the reason. Like we got Brunson so that way like he can take a step back offensively, but like in those moments where Brunson is not there, we need him to like be the guy that he was before Brunson got here. We get to some comments just to get the conversation continuing to roll here. Make sure if you are here, leave a comment as well as leave a like and subscribe. Probably won't be on this too long since I'm here by myself. Chris Bernhardt says he's not IQ as an initiator, but man can do shoot it. Get him a vet like Brogdon to help him run the offense, and you might unlock something with him. I think that's something that we've mentioned here on the post game, of course, previously. That not Brunson. Deuce is more so like he's like a small shooting guard in the fact that that like he's not someone that's gonna really get the team into the offense. He's not gonna be an initiator, but like have him play off ball on somebody, and he's great. Like you have him as like a point of attack defender. You have him as a guy who can do stuff off the catch in terms of shooting it more so. I think he's really gained some more confidence as a shooter as he's gotten more playing time, and I think that's something that we kind of all anticipated, that he would gain more confidence as a shooter as he got more minutes, as he got more consistent play. But it's just more so the other things that need to come around with him. And these games are kind of showing those warts. You're wondering if, the team is using this Brunson injury more so to evaluate Deuce more so and see if they're going to make a move at the deadline for someone else. Because I know it's been widely stated that the Knicks have wanted to give Deuce this kind of opportunity to see what he has. And, we'll see how things shake from there. But I think this will be used as an evaluation period. And I think the team will definitely have to get a creator because things just cannot continue to be this stagnant offensively. And credit to the Magic for their defense. Like they're a good defensive team. But yeah, it's been a rough 2 games without Brunson. Even against the Grizzlies, who the Grizzlies they don't have anybody, and it still looked like it was super hard to score. In that game offensively, turnovers, it was just a very sloppy game. But yeah. Chris Bernhardt also brings the free throws and rebounding. Mateo's oldest time when it comes to Knicks collapses. Yeah, those free throws in the fourth quarter, brutal. Rebounding actually hasn't been, minus the Mavericks game. But I think more so rebounding has been a strength of this team. But yeah, that Mavericks game, I can't remember if the Grizzlies game we struggled with the rebounds that much. And this game definitely, it looked like the Magic just wanted it more than us. Like they had guys like Fultz and Cole Anthony just flying around the court. Those guys seemed like they wanted it more than our guys. You had guys like Julius Randle just like walking around, walking around on defense, certain possessions. It just didn't look like these guys wanted it as much. And, I don't know if, matinee game, MLK Day, the guys just weren't up for it. But without Brunson, these guys have to give just a little bit more on both ends. Jordan Bubb says we need bench help ASAP. We can't just rely on Brunson and Randall to lead the offense all the time because whether it's fatigue or injury or off night from either one of them, it would be difficult for us to score. It was difficult for us to score tonight. Yeah, and that's what you kind of miss with IQ being traded out of here. You're hoping that the team trades for a bench piece to supplement it. Funny enough, tonight, like you think this would be one of those nights where where Thibs relies on Josh Hart a bunch, but he only played 23 minutes. He, of course, didn't have it going. I don't blame Thibs for not going to him more, but it's just interesting that he didn't go to him more. That just seems like his go-to move. But yeah, Josh Hart was pretty rough tonight. 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 of 7 from the field. Just didn't have it going like most of the team, and most of the bench especially. Jordan Bub also brings up. He says, "I think the Knicks need to get a Tyus Jones or more expensive in terms of trade equity to acquire in Jordan Clarkson, because the last 3 games have shown us that we need that third creator badly." I'm all for. I mean, I think people have more so been on the Jordan Clarkson train than the Tyus Jones train, just because Jordan Clarkson could give you a more scoring punch offensively. But I think Tyus Jones has been respectively. He has been more aggressive offensively, at least in the last couple games that I've seen his box score in. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm all for just acquiring a third creator, whether it's Tyus Jones, Terry Rozier, Jordan Clarkson. Like, get me anybody that can put the ball in the basket and can create for others. All 3 of those guys have shown that. I mean, you've seen Terry Rozier without LaMelo. He's getting like 8 assist games. Jordan Clarkson's been able to consistently give the Jazz like 20 and 5 off the bench. Like, get me one of those. I don't know. I think the Jazz are going to be willing to trade off pieces. It's just willing if the Knicks are going to be able to match Danny Ainge's price, because the team does look competitive right now. But that could, I mean, Danny Ainge could have a totally a different idea than what the team is actually producing on the court. But yeah, I'm all for getting any of those guys. I think any of those guys would help a ton. They would help spell Brunson. They'd help put Deuce in the right position. But that does beg the question: if we acquire one of those guys, does Deuce continue to get the minutes that he's getting right now, or does he become situational? Like, does Precious move out the rotation? Like, there's all these questions that we have, because Thibs does like to have a 5 on the floor. So Precious, I assume, would not be the one out of the rotation. Or does Thibs expand the rotation to 10 again? Like, does he do that? These are all questions that, we're going to have to ask we're going to have of the team if they do acquire somebody of that ilk of a Tyus Jones, Clarkson, Terry Rozier, any of those guys. But I mean, I'm all for it. It's just a matter of like what happens with the rest of the team in line with that. But we got a couple weeks till the trade deadline, so we'll see how things shake out. We'll see what happens. Jordan Bub also brings up, he says, shout out to Vivek for this, I guess on Twitter. Dibs wrote me this: why does every Dibs coach team since Chicago seem to fall prone to the same errors? Blown leads, missed free throws in crucial moments, fouling 3-pointers, low assist rates. That is excellent observation for Vivek, and a problem that seems to have followed him to the Knicks. I mean, this is what you're going to get with Dibs teams. Heavy isolation. I don't know about the missed free throws in crucial moments. I don't know how often that is from Dibs teams. I mean, from the Knicks, it seems like it's definitely a thing. I don't know how much so it's from the Bulls teams, how much that happened. But yeah, I mean, with a coach, you're just gonna have certain things that their teams do, because that's just like the way that their teams are built to happen. But yeah, it is annoying to see the same issues persist year in, year out. I mean, we'll see what happens when Brunson comes back, but I thought that the team was starting to move the ball a little bit better, and the assist rate was starting to move a little bit higher. But we'll see when Brunson comes back if that's something that goes back up, or something that continues to stifle. Because I thought since the OG trade that the team had started to move the ball a little bit better. But we'll see. I mean, with Deuce out there, it's much harder for the offense to get things moving. What I would like to see is if the team starts to, if Brunson is out just a little bit longer, if the team starts to run offense a little bit more through iHeart, because like, I don't know, it seems like I thought they would try to at least try to run things through Randall, but Randall isn't aggressive enough offensively to like be that much of a threat right now. and to actually like draw anybody to create any offense, but I don't know. We'll see how this team goes, and who knows? This could be nothing for now. Brunson could be back next game, um, and the team could acquire somebody very soon. So Knicks tape brings up, it says that OG isn't more aggressive with the ball in his hands. He basically has a 9-point floor with his threes, and he just can't put the ball on the floor. And Deuce's lack of ability to penetrate inside the arc kind of kills those bench minutes when the offense gets stagnant. Yeah, it just, the trade was good for when Brunson is like healthy and on the court, but like other than that, the trade really, like, it really highlights the team's inability to create. And we'll see what happens as a result of that. I mean, I think it's good for this team to have this stretch now, just because it's going to at least probably force the front office to look at things just a little bit quicker, because maybe they were going to wait till the trade deadline and maybe they make a move much quicker. I mean, I think teams are able to start trading players, I think today, or at least within the next couple of days. So we'll see if the Knicks start to get a little bit more aggressive in their pursuit of a bench guard. But I do think that this stretch will definitely be beneficial in terms of evaluating the team in terms of what they need and what they're missing. Let's see what else we have here. Grimes, 13 minutes tonight, which is about what he's been getting since the trade. This is another Obi situation. He's never going to get the minutes here. Trade him now before you kill his value completely. Grimes, yeah, Grimes. I think Grimes could have got more minutes tonight. Honestly, like, he had 8 points on 3 of 4 shooting, 2 of 3 from the 3-point option, from the 3-point line. I just don't know who you play him more for. I guess you give him more of like Hart's minutes tonight, but like it seems like they were going for like a super heavy starter load tonight, which I can't blame them, just because, like, I mean, do you bench Randall? Like, I don't know tonight. Like, tonight's one of those weird nights that, like, I don't know, like, where the minutes are coming from. But I do agree that Grimes should have got more minutes today. It's just tonight was one of those weird games, and I don't know. I would have probably given him more of Grimes. I would have given more of Hart's minutes. Probably would have spelled OG a little bit more. But the thing is, with Thibs, he's not gonna, like, he's so like particular and strict about where he plays guys at certain positions. And the Magic are a big team too, so like he definitely wanted OG out there a bunch. It's the reason why he didn't go small today. And that's why he had Precious playing a bunch of minutes as well when iHeart was getting in foul trouble. But yeah, I don't know. Grimes, I would have loved to see him get more minutes tonight just to give us a little bit more shooting. But yeah. Josh has earned nothing going forward. He should never be closing over Devo, playing more minutes than him. Yeah, Josh Hart has been somewhat of a roller coaster this year. Like, he'll give you games like the Philadelphia game, and then he'll give you games like the last couple games, and it's just like, why is there, like, it seems like there's no baseline for him this year. Like, it's just a constant trajectory of up and down, and you don't know what you're gonna get from him on a nightly basis. Like, he's not hitting his threes consistently. Yeah, Jordan Bub brings up. Can we talk about the roller coaster that is Josh Hart, because he can be a wow or oh no or neutral. It is inconsistent level with him. It's not consistent level with him, and it's more infuriating that Thibs will continue to give him at least a baseline of consistent minutes when there's not a baseline of consistent production with him. Um, and tonight I think his minutes really tanked us. Um, Him and Precious on the court was just recipe for disaster, and Precious apparently had to play tonight, given iHeart's foul situation. But I would have loved to see Sims out there for a little bit. Like, try something else, man. Like, because the combination of him, Hart, Flynn out there, it just wasn't doing it today. Um, and this is a game that we should have won. Like, sure, they're missing. I mean, sure, we're missing Brunson, but they're also missing Franz, and I feel like we had enough to get this win, and it was only a 4-point loss in a game where we missed a bunch of free throws. We missed, what was it, 7 free throws tonight, um, in a 4-point loss. So I think this is a game that we should have won regardless. Um, but yeah, Josh Hart, he's been absolute roller coaster. His minutes haven't been a roller coaster, but his production has, and that's been probably the most annoying thing, I'll say. Um, and Thibs has this thing with the guy every year that he has to have his guy out there, one of his guys. Chris Bernhardt says, at this point, why would the Jazz move Clarkson? They're red hot in the play-in. Seems like they're going to try for the playoffs. Thing is with Danny Ainge, I don't think Danny Ainge cares for the play-in. And I think it's been it's been made available consistently throughout the year. No matter how the Jazz are playing, I think that Danny Ainge is looking to really sell off a lot of these pieces. Like, I don't think that he cares much for the play-in. And I think a lot of these guys are going to be on their way out. I just think it takes the right package. So like for Clarkson, I think they would move off of him for the right price. But I do think I think the team would probably, like, the players themselves would like to stay and be competitive, but I don't think that Danny Ainge really cares much for being competitive. I think he just wants to get as much assets he can, and when the time is right, that's when he'll move forward with the team. But I don't think he wants to stay with this roster the way they are right now, because I think he sees too much value in the players that he can move off of. And it depends on how many teams are actually selling that, like, Danny Ainge could have the best possible assets that teams are looking for, if not a lot of teams are selling. But yeah. Jordan Bub asks, what are the options looking like to get a player that can play alongside Deuce on the bench or play with either Brunson Randall as another ball handler creator? I think Brogdon, Clarkson, Rozier, those are like the guys that can like play alongside a Deuce, and they can play with Brunson and Randall. Because those guys, they're gonna be those guys can play both on and off the ball. I know some fans have had their concerns with Tyus Jones, how he isn't really able to play off the ball much, I guess. I guess the other thing with Tyus is that he didn't want to be a backup in Memphis, and Memphis was supposed to be like a playoff situation. And I don't think that really matters much to Tyus, but I don't know how much that has changed since being in Washington. So I don't know how much he would welcome playing behind Brunson. But I don't know. But my top guys are like the guys who can like get you a bucket, like Rozier's, the Clarksons. Brogdon can get you some baskets if you need him to. Like those are my top options. Things are really looking bleak in Charlotte, so who knows what they're gonna do at the deadline if they look to move off some of these veteran pieces. Another interesting name that I've seen pop up, I don't know how much I'm for it, but it looks like Gordon Hayward might end up being a buyout candidate. I don't know what's the post in the chat for a Gordon Hayward bench creator situation. We know Thibs likes Gordon Hayward a ton. We know the Knicks have been interested in Gordon Hayward a bunch over the years. So I don't know. How does chat feel about a Gordon Hayward in a bench creator role off a buyout market? Because like it seems like that's where things are trending for one Gordon Hayward. We'll see how things shake out with Charlotte, but they're an interesting place to look for in terms of Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward on a buyout, maybe, if you're into that. If the Knicks are into that, which they probably will be. Clarkson and Brogdon on the trade market. Those teams are looking to get assets in return for vets. But yeah, those are some options that should be out there, and those fit the bill of someone that can play on and off the ball as well. Let's see. Knicks tape says Clarkson probably yield Fournier and 2 picks. Knicks tape also says Rozier would be super fun. Yeah, I like Rozier as, you know, we kind of need that guy to come in off the bench that can just like, we need like a J.R. Smith type, you know, irrational confidence, can hit you some deep threes, can hit you some contested jumpers. Like I need those type of vibes on the Knicks right now, off the bench, you know, and I feel like that would just bring together what this Knicks team needs right now. So we'll see. You know, the trade market's going to be heating up as guys are available. And you know, as team situations change. Nick Sabe also says, yeah, we need our spark plug back, and the defensive woes will be mitigated by the lineup season. I think also like there's like, you know, a thing of like guys probably trying a little bit more on defense if they're going to be in a competitive environment. Like Rozier isn't, like, I don't know how bad defensively Rozier was on like those Celtics teams that like he was a part of, that, you know, I think he was a backup on. But like, yeah, he's gotten a taste of, you know, being one of the guys on the Grizz, not the Grizzlies. I'm watching the Grizzlies game right now. On the Hornets, he's gotten a taste of being one of the guys. You know, I think that's what he wanted when he was in Boston. Maybe he would be more willing to buy in on a on a winning situation. So we'll see. But yeah, I like Rozier, I like Clarkson, I like those type of guards that can like just get their own offense, can get hot in a minute and can give you like 3 or 4 3-pointers instantly. Those type of guards, I think that's what we're kind of missing with no IQ here. So yeah. Jordan Bub says, shout out to Jeff, Frank Barrett for this. It all comes down to the shooting guard minutes. Josh Hart is a good player who impacts ways that don't show up in the box score, but he has no business being on the court with OG, Randall, Ihart, especially when Grimes, who has been better this season, is already playing too infrequently. Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, in a lineup of Deuce, OG, Randall, Ihart tonight, I think you could have had Grimes in those Josh Hart minutes. It definitely would have been much better, especially spacing wise. And he already gave you 2 threes in this game, and he only played 13 minutes. And what we needed tonight more than anything was offense. Because I think defensively we weren't too bad. Like, sure, the Magic like got maybe some second chance opportunities that we probably should have gotten away from them, but I think we more so needed offense more than anything, and Grimes was giving you at least some 3-point shooting. And yeah, I just don't think that Josh Hart really warranted being on the court. I think Thibs' mindset with having Josh Hart on the court was, of course, size, as it usually is, as the Magic are a much bigger team. But I just didn't think that mattered all that much tonight. But yeah, Starting to look ahead, next game is Wednesday versus the Rockets. I don't think that's a matchup that the Knicks should take lightly, whether Brunson plays or not. I just think that this team, the Rockets, they're coming off a nasty loss to the Sixers. They're a decent team. They're not like a team that we can like sleep on. I think that they have Fred VanVleet, who used to light us up last year. They have Sengun, pretty good center in the middle. What you call it? Who else they got? Jalen Green, he's been inconsistent. Not really caring much about what he does. Jabari Smith, he's coming a little bit into his own this year. Dylan Brooks is also going to give you fits defensively. But yeah, I just don't think, especially if we're going to be without Brunson, I don't think the Rockets are going to be a team that we can just, sleep on. But yeah, that's our next game. I think I'm going to end things here as I've covered most of this game today. Hoping that Brunson is back on Wednesday, hoping that iHeart has a better game because he got into foul trouble today, but I didn't think that I don't like the way the calls were going in our favor or not going in our favor. I just think the Magic were allowed to play a little bit more physical brand of basketball than we were today. But yeah, hoping for a better game from iHeart, hoping Brunson's back, hoping Randall is looking like Randall. Because I like that matchup for Randall versus a Jabari Smith. I don't think that he's someone that should give Randall any issues. But yeah, I just think that Randall should be able to take care of that matchup on Wednesday. So hopefully he steps up to the task. I will be back on Wednesday. I'm assuming some other people will be back for postgame on Wednesday. Shout out to everyone that rocked with me as there is NFL playoffs going on, as well as a whole bunch of other NBA games going on. But yeah, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. And yeah, check out all the links in the description. We got links to the site, merch, Patreon, and Twitter. Make sure you guys are following us there. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Everyone enjoy the rest of your MLK day and your Tuesday. Peace out.